I've worked for 10 years and it's never been harder than it is now to be a nurse. To put it into perspective, we have lost, my particular ward has lost a very large number of nurses. Some of those are due to mandates. Some of them are due to staff burnout, because nurses don't want to work when they don't have people to work with, when the workload is just getting heavier. Basically, we should be allowing all nurses to work, and we should be making it easier for them to work when they are working, because right now you have everybody doing double shifts, not getting breaks. No, why would anybody want to work? We're dressing in PPE all day, sweating. We're not allowed to take drink breaks because we're too busy. So nobody wants to work in those conditions.
You don't think the government's answer of importing a workforce is going to fix the problem?
No.
Why not?
Absolutely not. Because most of these nurses, if they do come here, it will be temporary. They'll be here on holiday visas, working holiday visas. And to be honest, it's very hit and miss with the nurses that are from overseas. I've struggled. Sometimes you have some great ones, and sometimes they're absolutely terrible, and you wouldn't want them looking after your family, basically. But the hospitals will take whoever they can get.
Unless you're not boosted.
Yes, yep. Skills aside, they will take you. I mean, they were talking about getting 1,000 nursing students into hospitals to help out. That does not help us out. That creates more of a workload, because not only do we have to look after our patients and work under the conditions we've already got, you've then added 1,000 students that we have to supervise and teach. On top of the students that we already have as part of the university undergraduate practice program. It is completely illogical to me.
I'm Yemini for Rebel News in Melbourne, Australia, where today I'm meeting with one of our frontline heroes. We're going to call her Sarah because we're going to protect her identity, so revealing this story doesn't get her into any further trouble.
I'm a senior nurse at a major Melbourne hospital. I've been a nurse for about 10 years. I've had 2 doses of the COVID vaccine as required to work in healthcare in hospitals. Once I was due for my booster, was required to get that to continue working, with the intention of following the hospital's protocols. I had set the date for when that was going to happen. I knew when it had to be due by, but I became pregnant around the same time that I was due for my booster. I went to my GP. With her advice, I followed a process called a VICSIS review, which basically means the Specialist Immunisation Service in Victoria reviews your case based on whatever your circumstances are. If you've had side effects, people who have issues with vaccines, they specialise in that. So I, being pregnant and having had side effects from the first 2 doses, needed some advice on which booster I was safe to get, if any. With that, the hospital I work for were not happy to wait for that process to be undertaken, because it would take longer than from after the time I was due to have my booster, and basically issued me with a notice telling me I would face disciplinary action, potentially resulting in termination if I did not have my booster by a certain date.
Why? Because she wants to put the interest of her unborn child first. And again, she's not choosing not to get vaccinated. She just wants the medical advice, something that used to matter. But in the world post-COVID-19, science has become political. How did that feel as a nurse, somebody that's dedicated their lives to this profession?
To be honest, that was a real kick in the guts.
The reason why this is so confusing at the moment is because we're being told that the hospitals are overrun and understaffed. We don't have enough nurses, that the government now is saying they're expediting the process of visas for international nurses to come here, to take nurses like Sarah's place. So they're looking at expediting visas for nurses, junior nurses overseas, to come in and fill those spots. What's your reaction to all that?
Well, I think I know a fair few nurses who would be more than happy to work currently, aside from who can't work because of their COVID vax status. I think it's really concerning that you have senior nurses who know the position, who know the role, who are willing to work, and rather than, in my case, wait a few weeks, maybe a month, for me to sort out the whole process of getting vaxxed, rather than wait that month, the hospital is happy to go through the process of terminating me.
Is it the hospital, or is it the government, or is it a bit of both?
It's both. They are scared of getting fined, but I don't think that they would get fined given the circumstances. So it's both. The government are not budging on their mandates.
So once again, we've seen COVID being politicised in Victoria. This can't possibly be in the interest of protecting people's health.
To be honest, I mean, the past couple of years have been really tough, but recently it's probably been the worst I've seen it. We have times where patients have no nurse at all. Like, typically on a shift you're allocated a certain number of patients, and I've been on shift where we've been told these patients don't have a nurse, so everyone just has to listen out for their buzzers. So basically, one can assume that according to these mandates that the government have put into place, they would prefer to have no nurse looking after these patients than an unvaccinated one. That's how I interpret that.
Or even a double vaccinated one that hasn't got the booster yet because she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Were you against the mandates to begin with?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Did some of your friends stop working?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still went along and did it?
Yeah, I was happy to give it the benefit of the doubt for the first 2 doses. It was, for me to lose my nursing career, I would lose a part of myself. Like, that's part of my identity. I had to weigh up the benefits, the pros and the cons of getting it and not getting it. And for me to not work as a nurse is like shattering.
This is not about the patient's health, because if it was, there'd be no question. Sarah would be able to get her advice and continue working. Instead, they're going to get rid of great nurses, experienced nurses like Sarah, and replace them, or try replace them, with international, potential even students.
You can be a great nurse and still have no idea what you're doing in another hospital. So that's the problem. And when I've left my ward, our workforce is already extremely junior. Majority of our workforce is nurses 1-2 years out of uni. So you've got a problem of the junior workforce, lack of senior nurses to teach the new nurses coming. So you're going to have a junior workforce teaching a junior workforce, basically. So it's dangerous. It's extremely dangerous.
If you think this story is as important as I do, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share it far and wide, because the mainstream media, they will not tell the story of those nurses like Sarah that are being discarded after giving their entire life to helping others. And the story is important. Right now, the headlines are that we don't have enough nurses, and people are asking why. Well, here's one of the reasons you won't see in the mainstream media. And then if you want to ensure that even if they don't like what we're saying and they're going to ban us from the platform you're watching this on right now, head over to followavi.com, subscribe to our mailing list, and follow me across socials to ensure you never miss a thing. followavi.com.